Thank you so much for being here with me. I want to share something with you, and this is proof of what I've been saying, and I think other people have been saying it too. But when I saw this, what I'm about to share with you, and it just popped off, I said, this is exactly what I've been talking about. And I'm talking about this one world order, talking about the end of days. I'm talking about all of it coming to the forefront. I have so much I want to share with you tonight, and I'm going to try to go through this really quick. I have a lot to share with you, and I'm going to try to do it really quick. So without further ado, let's get right into it here. Thank you so much. But first of all, hit the share button. If you're watching on Rumble, please hit the thumbs up. Rumble this video. It really helps out a lot. Please hit the thumbs up. Okay. I've told people you have the NATO. You have the NATO, right? You have United Nations, right? You have United Nations up here, the pyramid, right? And then you have the WEF, and then you have NATO, and then you have the other one. I don't even know what it's called, where it consists of Russia, China, Iran, Venezuela, a few other countries, right? What's happening right now, and a lot of people still don't understand this, and it's confusing to a lot of people. You know, it's confusing. There's a battle right now for who's going to have world dominance, right? Who's going to control the one world order? Who's going to be the top honchos? That's what's happening right now. You think Ukraine is about actually Ukraine? It's bigger than that. Ukraine is about who's get to control the one world order. And with them talking about making Ukraine part of NATO, what do you think that is? That is them saying we want to absorb Ukraine and make Ukraine part of NATO so they can absorb another country right on the borders of Russia. Russia has put out the memo, and to my understanding, this came out during Gorbachev, before Vladimir Putin was in there. When Gorbachev was in office, they talked about, expanding NATO into European countries and even closer and closer to Russia. It was a problem to Russia then. I think at that time it was the Soviet Union, right? But it was a problem for them. It was a problem because they all have their idea of this one world order, this one world system that they want to put in place. And for a lot of you that don't know, in the Bible, it says Gog and Magog will come down on Israel during Armageddon. And the way I understand it, Gog and Magog, that's Russia coming down on Israel. So if you believe what the Bible says, we know how this world order is going to pan out. Now, what's going to happen in between before we get there? I don't know. It doesn't look good. It's looking pretty dire because they're pushing us to World War III. Now, listen to this. Listen to what they say, because they're talking about Ukraine and Ukraine becoming part of NATO. You can't make this stuff up. And Putin already said, if Ukraine even tries to become part of NATO, it's over with. Game over, according to Putin.
So both NATO allies have agreed that Ukraine will become a member of our alliance, but at the same time, that is a long-term perspective. What is the issue now is to ensure that Ukraine prevail as a sovereign independent nation, and that therefore we need to support Ukraine.
I see that the future of Ukraine is to be part of European Union and also member of NATO. We have taken many steps forward when it comes to military aid to Ukraine, and I'm very glad that we are now cooperating together much more closely to give Ukraine more heavy weapons.
You hear this? Now, I just saw a report earlier today to where Russia was attacked from multiple borders around the country by drones. Where do you think they're getting the drones from? Who do you think's doing it, right? Who do you think they're getting the drones from? That's not Ukraine. Ukraine is getting provided these drones, right? So they can attack inside of Russia. And who's probably providing the drones? More likely is NATO countries. Because again, United States of America and apparently NATO is at war with Russia. And that's why they don't want China to get involved, because it's going to escalate. They're wanting it to escalate.
I think the discussion now, even though it's has taken some time, it's been very important concerning, for example, the Leopards. So countries are cooperating together more closely and more widely, and this is a very good thing. We have to support Ukraine as long as it takes, and they also need more heavy weapons. And the faster and the sooner we can give them more heavy weapons, the sooner the war will end.
You hear this? They're saying the sooner that we can get them more weapons, heavy artillery, probably even the F-16s, more drones, they're saying the sooner the war will end. No, and no. The war is going to continue. And I'm going to say this, and I've been saying this ever since the war started in Ukraine. Putin has been toying with them. Every single video that you see out there especially from the liberal media news, they're all saying that Putin is losing ground. He's losing ground, but yet we got to keep pouring billions of dollars into Ukraine, and we got to send them tanks now, and they're trying to get us to send them F-16s now. Really? So how in the world is Putin losing if we got to send all this stuff to him? They're wanting this war to continue until they can topple the government in Russia. That's what it's about. That's what it's really about. I'm telling you, it's about this one world order. People still don't understand. It's about this one world order. And like I mentioned, you have Russia, China, Venezuela, Iran, other countries, and then you have the NATO countries. They're all battling right now for this one world order. Who can control it? That's what they're battling over. And Ukraine just happened to be in the middle of all of it. That's what this is about. They're battling over it. Now, look at this one. This dude here, he is wanting, now, multiple people have put this out there. Now, of course, I don't speak Ukrainian, but there's a translator speaking for him. And based on what the translator is saying, this dude is a threat to the United States of America and to your children, to our children, to the United States children. Listen to what he says. This dude is a threat.
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war, and they will have to fight. Because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying, God forbid, because it's a horrible thing.
You hear this? Do you hear this? Now, at first, I was kind of, apprehensive of even playing this, even going along with this, and because, I don't know if the translator's actually, translating exactly what he's saying. But apparently, this is 100% true. Because multiple people, credible people all over have been posting this. This dude is wanting your sons and daughters to go over to Ukraine, even not just here in the United States of America, but in Europe, everywhere, the Western world. They're pulling us into World War III. This dude is a threat to our children. He's a total threat to our children. And I kept telling people, I said, look, they're trying to plunge in this one world order. That's what all this is about. They're trying to push us right into it, right over the edge, right into it. And there's various reasons why they want us to go into a one world order, right? And there's various reasons why they want to create this World War III. They want the World War III to take place for multiple reasons like population control, dominance, toppling regimes, getting rid of some people, right? Like Putin. There is a battle right now, and it's happening. What else do you need to see? And now this is stuff I've been talking about multiple times. It's no secret. It's no secret that they want to do this. The left, they are the party of death. And I've said that so many times, and it's true. They're not fighting for life. If they really wanted to fight for life, they would say, we've got to stop sending all of this armament to Ukraine. Because the only reason why the war is still going on is because NATO won't let it end. The only reason why people are still losing their lives in Ukraine because NATO won't let it end. And I'm gonna be straight up again. At some point, Putin is going to get Ukraine. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm sticking to it. He is toying with them. Do y'all know when the Romans used to spar with one another, they were extremely brutal. I mean, to the point almost to death when they would spar with one another, practicing. But then when it came to play with their enemy, they played with them. When it came to fight with them, they played with the enemy. They toyed with them. They toyed with them. That's the exact same thing that's happening here. And guess what? We're depleting all of our reserves. So if something happens, we're going to be in a world of hurt. These woke generals, they don't care. They want to go to war. They'll be safe in the bunker calling orders, along with the politicians, the stinking politicians. And talking about stinking politicians that don't care about life, they're more concerned about Ukraine. They're more concerned about the people in Ukraine than they are the people here in the United States of America. This is no secret either. Look at our southern border. Look what they've done to our southern border. And everyone, I'm pretty sure by now, has seen this young lady. She has lost 2 sons to fentanyl, 2 children to fentanyl. And the left, what are they concentrating on? Wokeism. They're more concentrating on wokeism than they are trying to fix the southern border. I played this earlier from my producer, and she just had tears in her eyes. Straight up tears in her eyes. Because the left, they're fighting law enforcement from protecting the American people. They don't need China. They don't need China to come attack us. Right? They don't need it. Because they already have the Democrats in the United States of America destroying our country. Listen to this mother.
But 100,000 die every year and nothing's being done. Not enough is being done. Numbers are going up, not down. And you talk about children being taken away from their parents. My children were taken away from me.
You know what? This so irks me to no end. Her children's deaths are on the Democrats, the leftists, these communist socialists in this country, is on their hands, because this could have been prevented. This could have been prevented, but they didn't want to prevent it. And they don't care. Why? Because of her complexion. I hate to say that, but they don't care. They act like, well, it's just, it's okay. It's okay. If fentanyl was coming across the southern border and it was only affecting
people of color,
they would go ballistic. They say, oh my goodness, we've got to shut the border down. We got to shut it down. It's racist to leave it open. But because it's not affecting
people of color
like this, right? But it is. They're just not putting them on the television. But it's affecting them. But they don't care. This mother lost both her children because of the negligence of the left, because they refuse to pay attention and to address the issues on the southern border.
100,000 Americans every year are having their children, 200,000 because it's both parents, right? Are having their children taken away from them. This should not be politicized. It's not about race. Fentanyl doesn't care about race.
She's absolutely right. Fentanyl does not care about race, doesn't care about if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you pretend to be something else. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. Death, this fentanyl is death. It is death coming across our border, and they're doing nothing to stop it. Well, of course, they go, well, we've had, they've stopped some of them, and they capture all of these pills where they capture, pounds. I saw one day on a February 26th or 27th, they stopped and they got 200 and something pounds of fentanyl. They stopped it. And then the other day on the 17th, I think it was 98 pounds of fentanyl. Well, what about all the other loads of fentanyl that they're missing that's coming to the country? Because it's killing Americans. China doesn't need to invade. It doesn't need to be like Red Dawn. It doesn't need to be like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all saw that movie? They actually made 2 movies of it. The very first one was really good. The second one was good. It was decent, but it wasn't good as the first one. But it's not happening like Red Dawn. We have the federal government right now allowing the drugs to come across the country, and it's killing Americans, and China's creating the daggum thing. China is destroying us with drugs. Send the drugs. It'll kill them. Send enough of it. They've stopped so much drugs coming across. It would kill Americans 5 times over. Then some. You know what? I think the main reason why the Biden regime refuses to stop the fentanyl from coming across the border, because they could stop it. They really could. President Trump stopped it up to like 98%, right? Of course, they're still going to get it across some kind of way, but he stopped it, not to where it is today, right? President Trump stopped it. Today is pretty much just coming across. And if they just get caught, they just happen to get caught. But other than that, the federal government is doing nothing about it. And the reason why I believe the federal government is doing nothing about it, because you remember Joe Biden did the crack pipe kit. Remember? They said, oh, there's no crack pipe in the kit. There's no crack pipe. Jen Psaki, she was having to answer questions about the crack pipe kit. And she said there's no crack pipe in it. And then come to find out there was crack pipes in the kit. So why in the world would you have a federal government that is creating a drug kit so people can shoot up heroin and smoke crack? And they say that they're doing it so it'll be for safety reasons, so they won't have to share needles. Continue to let them do the drugs, the heroin, the meth, the crack. Continue to let them do it. Let's not try to crack down and prevent it. Let's make it safe for them to do. What a brilliant idea. So if they're going to create a crack pipe kit, a heroin kit, a meth kit, so people can shoot up, why in the world would anyone think that they're going to stop fentanyl from coming across the southern border? Someone help me out. Someone help me out. I'm sitting there thinking, I said, dude, what is going on? They're literally killing our children. China doesn't need to invade. Like I said, doesn't need to be a red dawn. Doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be. And the federal government, what do they say about it?
I will tell you the lines of communication were severed when this administration took over. We have zero communication with the federal side, which is disappointing, something we lost when this administration came in.
So they stopped talking to law enforcement. Well, isn't that interesting? So law enforcement is having to take it upon themselves without the assistance of the federal government, because even Mayorkas told them not to deport the people. Even Mayorkas is fighting against ICE. Even Mayorkas got up there and said, the border is secure. There's nothing wrong with the border. It is closed. They have to come through the front door. Really? Yeah, they have to come through the front door. But guess what? When they come through the front door, they just come through the front door with the fentanyl, because the federal government, I guess they wanted part of the crack pipe kit.
In the state of Arizona in 2021, we lost 44 children to poisonings under the age of 17. 7 were under the age of 1 year old. If that doesn't mobilize the forces of this country to stop this problem, I don't know what will. This is what we deal with on a daily basis. And I hear that 90% come through the ports. Those numbers are not what we're seeing. It's 50-50, 52-48. And the fact that you think...
Let me stop it real quick. You know what? I'm going to take it back so y'all can hear that again. Because they always try to say, majority of the people that's migrating into the country, they're just immigrants fleeing from tyranny. They're just immigrants fleeing from, a war zone, which is none of that is true. These NGOs coach all these people to come now, and the Biden administration, the Biden regime, they're doing this on purpose. The United States of America, no country can sustain an invasion like this and continue to last, while they're also causing all of these other disruptions with our gas going up, the eggs going up. There's this story, this horrific, horrible story with this lady, broken ankle. She had a stroke at the hospital. The hospital kicked her out because she didn't have insurance. The police came and hauled her away. And while they were taking her away, she died in the van, the police van, because they refused to help an American citizen that did not have insurance, but these people coming across the border, they can get all the assistance that they want. They'll take federal agents, they'll take government agents, they'll take people off the airplane, no more air marshals, and they'll send them down to the border to cater to these illegals coming across the country. Somebody make it make sense.
Those numbers are not what we're seeing. It's 50-50, 52-48. And the fact that they think they can bring it through our borders is not something to brag about that we catch it. Because what that tells me is the cartel is so confident that they're going to get those drugs through your borders. They come right through our front door.
Right through the front door.
We have saved, with the amount of seizures we've had, have saved probably this entire country multiple times over.
Multiple times over. Multiple times over. And of course, the Democrats, they want to fight for woke issues. They want to fight for stuff that is meaningless because someone feels a certain way. Well, their feelings is important, so we got to work on that. While we have American children dying from fentanyl. And you know what? I wish, see, this is the reason why they won't ever allow me into the press corps when, Karine Jean-Pierre is up there. Because I'm going to ask him, I say, so with all the fentanyl coming across the border, because, before y'all talked about the crack pipe kit, the heroin kit, the meth kit, the one that just said there was no crack pipe in it, and then it came out to have the crack pipe in it. Are y'all making it safe for people to use fentanyl? Are y'all going to start doing that? Because fentanyl is a problem. Like crack is a problem. Meth is a problem. Heroin is a problem. These hard drugs, they are a problem. Opioids. Are you going to make it safe for people to use fentanyl as well? Because that's what y'all did with the others. Right? Because you're not trying to stop it. Then shut the border down. Shut it down. Call it what it is, an invasion, and shut it down. But they don't want to do that. You know why? Because they want to work on woke issues. One of those woke issues is going against the U.S. Constitution by paying off student debt. Now, as a student, you agreed to pay it off when you said, okay, I'm going to get this student loan. I signed the line. I agree to pay it off. It is unconstitutional for anybody to say that we're going to just pay off student debts. Welcome to the socialist communist states of America. That's exactly what it is. And this demonic demon is excited about it. Listen.
Good morning, everyone. How y'all feeling? So the question today is, does the President of the United States have the power, the legal right to cancel student debt? To that we say, yes.
No. The answer is no. See, and you know what? This is proof again that these people do not care about the U.S. Constitution. It's like I'm talking to a broken record. It's like I'm saying it over. I'm the broken record here, talking to myself here. I say it over and over, and many people are starting to get it because I say this because I've had so many people say, Will, we have the Constitution. We have the Constitution. Well, here they're clearly violating the Constitution once again. And all these people that I know personally send me messages, would call me and say, Will, we have the Constitution. They can't do this, but yet they're doing it.
Hell yeah.
Is it just for student debt to be canceled for the millions of people that are shackled with student debt? Is it just for us to look at the problem of student debt through a racial justice lens? Is it just for us to look at the student debt crisis as an economic problem in this country? In 2016, I ran for office on the promise of fighting to cancel student debt. Too many people told me I was naive, that it wasn't politically viable, that there was never going to be a day where people will come around to the idea of freeing millions of people from the shackles of student debt.
You hear this? Because she's a socialist. Welcome to the United States of Socialist Communists. That's exactly what this is. This is exactly what this is. They've been pushing for this. So now they're going to get more and more people to want them to pay it off. And it, to my understanding, it's up to $6 billion. $6 billion. So now they're going to start screaming. People are going to want other things paid off. This completely violates the Constitution. And they found a liberal federal judge to say, yes, they can do this. And it violates the Constitution. It needs to go to the Supreme Court.
I knew then that it was the right cause to fight for. And millions of people across this country have now come to the realization that, yes, it was the right cause to fight for. Millions of young people showed up in 2020 election to say, yes, we want student debt cancellation. All of you rallied around this country to try to make sure our president, who at the time was hesitant, would finally realize that this was not just a politically viable thing, but it was the right thing to do. That's right. And after we got the president to sign the executive order canceling student debt, bringing hope and promise to millions of people who have been begging, marching, what did the Republicans do?
Now, listen to this. Listen to this. Because it's unconstitutional. It has nothing to do with race issues, nothing to do with your gender, none of that. But listen to this.
What they always do is snatch hope from the American people. And so now they want this radicalized extremist Supreme Court to take away the hope that the President of the United States has given those of us who have been rallying for this cause.
It's socialist. It's unconstitutional. It has nothing to do about your cause, about your feelings. It's unconstitutional. Plain and simple.
Regardless of what happens today, we are not going to stop. We are not going to rest until every single person who has student debt is freed from that and is able to have opportunity in this country. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being in this fight.
Every single debt. So what about all of us that paid off our student debts, right? And they said, well, that's just too bad. That's just too bad. That's just too bad. This woman is a problem. Now, you know, she said that Biden can't do it. He has the legal right to do it. Well, listen to this drunk woman here as she's talking about Joe Biden being able to forgive student debt.
People think that the president of the United States, is this more on the subject than you ever want to know? Will you let me know? People think that the president of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress.
You hear that? You hear that? Well, where is she at today? She's off mouthing off saying that he does have the power. He does have the authority, knowing good and well he doesn't. Knowing good. So is she lying now or was she lying then? Right? Which one is it? Because it's unconstitutional. And she knows, and that's the reason why she said that then. But now that they found a liberal federal judge, listen to Joe Biden as he's sitting there talking to this lady here about it. Joe Biden actually says it was passed. It wasn't passed. Congress did not vote on it. Congress did not debate on it. Congress had nothing to do with it. Again, it is unconstitutional.
Secondly, if you don't have one of those loans, you just get $10,000 written off. It's passed. I got it passed by a vote or two.
He said he got it passed by a vote or two. So when did they vote on it, Joe? When did they vote on it? This dude he just sit there and lie. And no one there is going to say, actually, no one did vote on it. No one did vote on it. Excuse me, sir. No one actually voted on it. They're not going to do that. They're just going to let it slide. Let it go. They're going to let it go. All right. This is where you need to go right now. Let's go to Rumble. Let's go to Rumble now. Come on. Let's go to Rumble right now For the rest, I want to share with you. Just go to Rumble and type in Will Johnson. All right, right down there, or you can go browser, like I always say. All right, I'm just going to do this really quick. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Oh, actually, let me say thank you to a couple people before I go. All right, on here on Facebook, and I'll look on YouTube in just a second. Let me see. Let's see. Angela, thank you so much for sharing. Deborah, sharing. Glinda for sharing. Belinda, thank you so much. Jack, thank you so much. Tracy, Michael, Kathy, Jean, thank you so much. Tony, thank you so much for the stars. Thank you so much. Christina, thank you so much for sharing. Sharon, Jean, Tony, Jack, thank you so much. Dave, thank you so much for sharing. Joe, thank you so much for the stars. Robin, thank you for sharing. Gina, thank you for the stars as well. Patricia, Diane, Leon, Susie, thank you so much for sharing. Michael, Michelle, thank you so much for the stars. Mary, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for sharing. Aaron, Maria, Mike, thank you so much for the stars. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. All right, come on, head on over to Rumble. Head on over to Rumble. I'm going to see you over there right now. Right now. I'm going to end it here. And we should be going in 5, 4, 3.